So Zusha one, Zusha says, Rebbe David would have passed differently, but the verse bunch. We do over now, or would they?
We're doing Lamed. The truth is, we did a shtickle of this Gemara already, but we're going back because the whole Tishrei. I guess we're finishing off the sugya. I mean, this week, next week, and Mitzvah Hashem will start a new sugya. I just figured there's no kunz. It's a geschmack sugya, but Kiddush will from Seudah and making the broch and the say mokim v'chulu v'chulu. And as you'll see, it has a little bit of shaykhs to sukkahs. I was hoping we're going to learn before sukkahs, but we didn't. So what's the difference? I mean, why? Okay. We'll finish the sugya Mitzvah Hashem this week, next week.
But the people that when it's raining go outside, right? You make Kiddush and then when they inside to eat, what happened then?
This is the sugya. Yeah, this is the sugya.
And Mukdam and
No, Chabad, you.
Yeah, Chabad makes no difference.
No, you stay.
Yeah, for them, that's why. I was thinking, oh yeah, I want to learn this before Sukkot. I was thinking, Lubavitch is doch nicht negei la'alocha. It's negei lepilpula. Lubavitch, we had a mazel, right? A Shabbos. Oh, yeah. We usually start the Seudah at about 1:00, 1:15. This Shabbos on the Chol Hamoed, we started the meal at 2:30 because there was someone in our shul that they made a kiddush for their daughter, Shmuel Omos.
Okay.
So I went with my wife to the kiddush, and then we came home, and by the time we got home, the rain stopped.
there was also an evening meal that was raining, and then
Also, we had a late meal.
yeah,
In the schools of the late meal,
Stop raining.
it stopped. It was nice, right? It was nice. It was beautiful.
yeah, first night of Simchas Torah.
Oh yeah, Queen Atzeres.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
And Machaya. Okay. So anyway, for Lubavitch is nicht so negeya legabe the sukkah, but it's negeya the sugya.
Right.
So we'll learn it right now. Okay. There's a machlokes Rabbi Shmuel if you have to have kiddush b'makom Seudah. Let's let the top line. After the kiddush liotz ella l'Rab, according to Rab, that Rab says you don't have to have kiddush b'makom Seudah. Lama leila kiddush l'beisei. Why does he have to make kiddush at home? The meaning in those days was the chazan in the shul made kiddush in the shul. So you're good. So the Gemara answers, so he goes home, make kiddush for his family. The Gemara Shmuel, according to Shmuel says you must have kiddush b'makom Seudah. Lama leila kiddush b'echnishta. Why do we make kiddush in the shul? So when answers lafuki orchim midei to be moitzi the orchim, the obligation, the ochel v'shos they're going to be vechnishta because they eat and drink and they sleep in the shul. So therefore, they have to be. What are they going to do? So the chazan in the shul takes a cup of wine, he makes kiddush. So the orchim that stay in the shul, they're yoytze kiddush. The Shmuel goes according to his shita. The Shmuel ain't kiddush ela b'makom Seudah. Okay. Gemara is going to say the halacha is like Shmuel.
And the people who come to the shul to according to the Gemara, they stay in the shul, they don't go.
Those days they had like in the shul.
Like a
They had
not the people go from the shul to Harad.
Yeah.
Not like today.
Not like today, yeah.
I don't know, right?
Sounds, huh?
There's no Rashi on the right, only Rashbam.
The Rashi wrote very little in Masechet Pesach in the last Perek, and his Enikal that Rashbam was Mashla.
Oh, okay.
Was the Shmuel Tamei, the Shmuel and Kiddush Ela b'makom Seudah. Sover Minei. The Bnei Yeshiva were thinking, Hani Mili, when is the problem that it's not Kiddush b'makom Seudah, that you have to make Kiddush a second time? Mebais labais. If you went Mebais labais, if you went from one place to another, B'chad Beisa within one house. Look, that's not a problem. That's all called one mock. Amar Lahurev Onam Bar Tachlifa. Rabbanan said, no, not true. Zimnan Sagi, it was many times, not once, not twice, many times. Have a kamina kamei de Shmuel, I was in front of Shmuel. V'nochis meigir la'ara, and he went down from upstairs to downstairs. V'adam mekadosh and make kiddush a second time. So we see even from upstairs to downstairs is already considered a separate mocker, and you have to make kiddush a second time. Many of the Rishonim learned upstairs, downstairs, and cheder l'cheder is a hainu hach. Not many Rishonim, all the Rishonim, all the poskim, no one makes a difference. V'af Reb Huna Savar and Kiddush Ela b'makom Seudah. The Gemara says Reb Huna also holds this way. And Kiddush Ela b'makom Seudah. Reb Huna Kodesh, Reb Huda made Kiddush, V'sak Shraga, there was his light was burnt out. He brought his kalim into the garden of Rabbi's son. There was plenty of light there. And he made Kiddush a second time. And he ate something. We see that he holds and Kiddush Suda. So we see that Huna holds and Kiddush Suda. Very good. Rayat din of Shmuel. Rabbi saw it and Kiddush Suda. Rabbi also holds and Kiddush Suda. Abaya said, Kavina Beimar, when I was in the house of our Rebbe, when he made Kiddush, he would say to us, Timu Midu, taste something. When you're going to go to the place where you sleep, because the Bnei Yeshiva they were married, but they used to go with the reshus of their wives. They used to go for a few months to learn by their Rebbe, and they used to rent an apartment, so they were ushpizin. Not like the ushpizin in the sukkah, but a different type of ushpizin. They used to rent a little apartment, a little basement apartment, something. Yeah. So at least a ushpiza, when you're going to go to your guest house, what's going to happen? That there might be that it'll be late. That your light already burnt out. You're not going to make Kiddush. The Kiddush of the Hochel and Achkisu, and then a Kiddush over here, you and I, then Kiddush of Makim Suda. Agav, I'm reading over this Gemara again. It's a lot in the beginning will be negay. We're going to learn this week and next week. And also, I said this year we're going to koch a little bit more in about the Neir Shabbos Kodesh, the importance of eating the meal, the Neir Shabbos Kodesh, and this Gemara is connected to this.
Yeah, because he said the candle went off. That's why it went off.
No,
I mean that you must have a candle.
You must have a candle. V'makom Suda. Any. It's what it says. It's not true. V'amar Abaya said. My Rebbe, Rabbe, everything he did like Rabbe. The Bar Mahani clause of Shmuel, only three things he did like Shmuel. One thing was, he said, Matirim me begel beged. You're allowed to be makel to take tzitzis from one beged to another beged. Another thing you be makel, Matirim madlikim and there, you're allowed to light 2 candles of mitzvah like Chanukah. You're allowed to light one from the other, even though there's some shit's hold you're not allowed to. The loch is like Reb Shimon lagabe gereda. The Amr Reb Shimon go to the mita kids of the sapsal b'Shabbos of alvatshel is kavan asas charitz. That a person is allowed to drag a bench in Shabbos, he's not allowed to have a kavanah to make a scratch in the ground, because then if he wants to make a scratch in the ground, it's like plowing and planting.
So we see the floors were sand and
because those days exactly they didn't have wood floors and tiles. You're dragging, you make so he said, is mutter. You don't have in mind to make a scratch, it's mutter. So we see that there's only 3 things that Rabbi ever went like Shmuel. Otherwise, he did like Rab. So what are you telling me? Kiddush b'makom Suda, he went like Shmuel. So Gemara says no. He only went. Rabba was only machmir on issues like Rab. He kula de Rab love. He never went like the kulas of Rab. And here Rab was makel. Rab said you don't have to have Kiddush b'makom Suda. So this thing that we know that Rabba went like Rab was only to be makel, to be machmir. So he was machmir like Rab. But here the Gabe Kiddush b'makom Suda. What do you mean? Rav is being makel. That doesn't apply. That rule doesn't apply. Okay. So bottom line is that we see, and we're soon going to see also a Braisa, that we see that a lot of Amoraim held that halacha is like Shmuel, that you must have Kiddush b'makom Suda, and that's the way Taka the Shulchan Aruch paskins, also the Rishonim paskin this way, that the Rif paskins, the Rambam, the Rosh, that you must have Kiddush b'makom Suda. And we see Taka, Shmuel had gehalten azoi, and Reb Hunat gehalten azoi, and Rabbi gehalten azoi, and we're soon going to bring more ayahs. So Rabbi Yochanan argued. He said, "Af yidei yain nam yotz." Rabbi Yochanan said, "If you make shini b'makom l'makom, not only you yotze kiddush, but you also yotze the baracha." Was Rabbi Yochanan tamei? Rabbi Yochanan goes according to Shit. Amar B'chanan Barabaya. Amar Pedos. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. After shini yain ve'echad shini makom, ain't tzarich levarich. That if you change a different wine, you don't have to make a second time better pregafen. You don't have to make a tayva made. You don't have to make again better pregafen. And if you go with makom l'makom, you don't have to make again a bracha. So Rabbi Yochanan was makel even more. He said, you don't have to have Kiddush Makom Seudah, and also if you make Shini Makom, you don't have to make another bracha. You do have to make a bracha. Shini Yain ain't tzarech levarach, but Shini Makom tzarech levarach. So Gemara Tufta der Rabbi Yochanan. Stak auch geschlagen Rabbi Yochanan. Tufta Rabbi Yochanan Tufta. So Gemara Yosef Levi de Barove, Gemeder Chizah Yosef Chizah, but I'm sure that Chizah said the name like this. Other one is Shini Makom tzarech levarach. This that we said that when you make a bracha and you're Shana Makom to make a new bracha, it's only Mebais Labais. Aval Makom La Makom Loy. But if you're gonna go Makom La Makom, it's not a problem.
In the same house?
Oh, what does Makom La Makom mean? Rashi says Mebayis La Aliyah. Rashi says Mebayis La Aliyah. That this we said that Shini Makom Sarach Lavore is only Mebayis Labayis. But if you're going to go Mebayis Laliyah, not a problem. Embaya. When we go Mebayis Laliyah, Embaya. With the Chilan the Gemara, Namad Aleph, we said that Abbanon said that Shmuel went from upstairs downstairs and made Kiddush again. So you have to say, according to Rashi, that Kiddush is different than Brach. The Kiddush were more machmir. The Kiddush were more machmir. As I was saying, according to Rashi. The Tosfos disagrees. We're going to learn in a minute. Tosfos says no. Tosfos says it makes no difference. Lagabi Kiddush, Lagabi Brach, the rules are the same thing. But Rashi holds no. The rules are not the same thing. Lagabi Kiddush were more machmir. And Lagabi Brach were more makel. Therefore, you can go from upstairs to downstairs. Let's just read a few more lines. Yosef, leave the Barab, okay, the Chiz, Yosef, the Ramam, sure that one other, Shana Makum Tzara Govarach, Lasham, Labais, Labais. But Makum Law is not a problem. Amalei Rebidi, Barovin, Hoch, Tenin Law, the Masnis of the Rebbinik. I heard there's a Mishnah in the Rebbinik that says these words, Amalei Masnis of the Rebbinik, Kavasech, or words are a little different. He said there's a Mishnah in the Rebbinik, but like you. So Zogimara, Vela Rabona, Masnis, Kamash Mala. Rebbeinu has to tell me a brayse, a mishnah. The Rebbeinu, the masnisa l'shmiyah, it was a brayse. He didn't know the brayse, and he said the din as a svara. But the emphasis is take. He's right, and lavoch it's a befedish brayse that says that. So again, so we said that the bottom line is that we paskin that you have to have kiddush b'makom seudah. And if you make a machine and makom get a brach, you have to make another brach. But if you learn according to Rashi, so Lagabi Kiddush, we have a story that Shmuel went from upstairs to downstairs and make Kiddush second time. So if you go mecheder lefeder from upstairs downstairs, you gotta make Kiddush second time. Lagabi brach, Rashi was blocking more makel. If you go upstairs downstairs mecheder lefeder, embaya, no problem. The Tosfos we're gonna learn now. Tosfos no. Tosfos Kiddush brach is avazah. That if you go from upstairs to downstairs, you got a problem. If you go from upstairs to downstairs, you got a problem.
Make a new Kiddush and a new
Yeah.
According to Tosfos, what's the problem if you do?
Yeah. According to Tosfos, if you go and we pass Kentucky and Shechnorach like the Rosh and like Tosfos, we pass like Tosfos. That if you go mecheder lecheder, you have to make another bracha, unless you made it tonight. B'shas you made a bracha. Otherwise, if you make mecheder lecheder, make a bracha. It's a very important. The Mishnah Berurah Zog. Zog the Chofetz Chaim. I made the copies in the Mishnah Berurah, but I want to say it about that because it's just a little confusing inside. Oops, the Lomdas Gate Azay. But essentially, with the Mishnah Berurah, it's so long, but he really saying a very simple thing. It's like at the end of his whole pilpul, but this is Rashi. Okay. So the Mishnah Berurah says, I don't understand. I see the oilam. I never see anyone that there's makbid in it. People walk in and they make a shahakal, they drink a little bit of seltzer, they go in the other room, they don't make a second time shackle. It's a befedish dinner shulchan aruch. You have to make another shackle. So it's a long pilpul. Like I said, I'm not sure. I made the copies already, but I'm not sure we should read it inside. It's a long a long arichas, but really, essentially, the whole pilpul comes down to one paragraph. That maybe Rashi's right. And then he wants to say maybe the Rif and the Rambam also like Rashi, and maybe another few Rishonim. He's trying to make it, everyone, he's trying to tip the scale to Rashi's side. But the maybe Lagabi Brocha, that the Cheder Lacheder Babayis Echad is not a problem. It's all called one Mokum. But Tosfos holds it is a problem. So really, the Mishnah Berurah thinks he's helping, but he's making a big problem. He's helping the Amaratzim, he's making it a disaster for the Talmidei Chacham. Why? Because one second, I'm giving you a copy, but we're going to another thing in a second. Because what the Mishnah Berurah really did, he made a big problem over here. According to the Alter Rebbe, yeah, if you made a shahakal in one room and you walked out in the other room, so you make another time shahakal, there's no problem. And according to Mishnah Berurah, because even though the Shulchan Aruch Paskin like Tosfos, but we decided that it's Rashi and Tosfos is 50-50, 50-50. We don't know. It's a suffix. So l'chatchila, you should never walk out of the room. If you made a shakal in one room, you should not walk out because now you got to get involved in the machlokes Rashi and Tosfos something wrong. If you ask the Alter Rebbe, what's the problem? We paskin like Tosfos. That's it. Unequivocal. We paskin like Tosfos. No problem. It sounds like the Mishnah Berurah came to help us, but he really made a problem. He wanted to make a limud schus. Mishnah Berurah says, I said, look around. Amadabar. People go from one room to another room, the bayis echad. They made a shahakal and the seltzer here. And they walk into the other room and they don't make a second shahakal. So he wanted to learn a limud schus. Minig Yisrael toirehi. But really he made a problem. He thought to help us, but he made more problem than help us. Okay. I was thinking, and maybe in the days of Chofetz Chaim things were a little different. Isn't stomach daite? Today, people graze. The derech olam is people graze. Loy meboy when they go to the shidduch program, what's it called? The Shavuos, a Pesach program, a Shavuos program, a Sukkot program. You see they advertise. I've never gone to these programs. Don't worry, Toma Dagan is just 24-hour with 2-room and cake and cookies. I said, do essen 24/7. Said, essen, right? I see that. Is it true? Do they have 24/7 food around?
That's what's called the car, mostly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saloma boy. So, but also at home, nest. The Gemara says Moshe Rabbeinu saw the menakrim ketan the goyim. They're eating day and night. So he made some kavala of man Seudah. In America, they were mevatel takonas Moshe Rabbeinu. And me'est. I'm not talking about other people. I'm talking about myself too. So it's not insulting. I'm not giving mussar to anyone. Me'est. We graze in America. So the stoma kedaite, because the stam, I make a shahakal, a seltzer here, and I walk in there, and I walk up here, and I walk there, and I walk in the basement. So the stam is like a head medas. That's what I was thinking. What's das so gefährlich? Then I was thinking maybe I have a takona to make. I want to make a takona. Here in Beis Menachem Mendel, we're going to make a nice takona for Klal Yisrael. Kimitzi and Teitzei Stoi. You're going to make a takona for Klal Yisrael. In every kitchen, I already mentioned this takona.
The sign of
two
this
signs.
house we eat everywhere.
We eat no end, and we eat in every room. 2 signs. So there's 2 problems, the 2 issues, which is hesach hadas. If you eat 1 apple, another apple, an apple can use 100, orange. I eat potato chips. Can I now eat another bag of potato chips? Steht schon a sign. We graze. In this house, we graze and we eat in all the rooms.
Doesn't work in my house.
We graze and we eat in all the rooms.
No chometz all over.
Oh.
Only in the kitchen.
Now, 1 second.
That's something. Only around.
Grazie, Alfredo. No, it's very important. I don't let chometz into my room where I have my svarim. I don't let my svarim should be next to chometz. I don't have time before Pesach to go check my svarim for chometz, and I want to use my svarim on Pesach. Okay. So careful. Okay. There is once we learned from the Kloisenberger Rebbe. The Kloisenberger Rebbe said that he has a chapa. that women they're running to light Shabbos candles, but remember, Mo, we learned from the Eretz Tzvi,
before
yeah,
best.
from the Rosh Yeshiva, the Emre Emes asked him to write a tshuva. There's also tshuva in the Kloisenberg Rebbe. So the Kloisenberg Rebbe said, once a year, a woman should make a tanai. And when she lights the candles from the Kabbalah Shabbos, chutz, medin de tainis kebishas mincha maila, pun intended. I'm using the nusach from Torah's Nadorim. Chutz legabe mincha. Legabe mincha, it's in the Shabbos. I'm lighting the candles at Shabbos legabe everything, not legabe mincha. We already spoke about it, but Yichus Gedoyla, Lanius Daiti. It's a mistake. The Milza may call it. It's not a problem to daven mincha for a woman after she lights the candle. She should daven mincha before, but the other, it's fine. Okay, but I'm just telling you a word from the Kloisenberg Rebbe. So if it works for this, maybe I'll make a similar takana to the Kloisenberg Rebbe. Gabi this, make a t'nai once a year. That whenever I make a bracha to eat, it's not just for this. Whatever is covered with the shahakal, whatever is covered with the eitz, whatever is covered with the adama. Even if I only took out a little fruit, a banana, but Thomas Alosach will eat 10 fruits.
We snack in the house all day.
And we also go mecheder l'cheder. And once a year I make this tonight, and maybe it'll work. But you can say it's a joke. And the Kloisenberg Rebbe wanted to help a woman that wants to daven mincha, Woman is having anxiety. She's about to light Shabbos candles. She doesn't know what to do. She wants to light on time. And if she's going to have mincha, she'll light late. On the other hand, she doesn't want to miss mincha. Nebach. The woman is now in a pickle. But because me and you want to eat an extra bag of potato chips, darf nicht machen ketakonas for me and you to have another bag of potato chips. Okay? But the other hand, you can say, well, listen, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. So I don't know. I think it's a good idea. But to say stamakedaite, to say bestam, that today it's as if everyone it's as if the whole world kilo made a tanai. And the fact that you go macheder l'cheder and don't make another bracha is keilu because we made a tonight that we're going macheder l'cheder.
It's a new style. You have a bottle of water with you everywhere you go.
Yeah, right.
Keep drinking all day.
Yeah, it's also shiloh from So
Yes, exactly.
I don't know, but for sure, if a person is going to make a tanai and say, I'm telling you, I'm saying the fetish that in my house
It should help.
It should help. I gavi chometz. So first of all, not everything shahakal is chometz. You can make shahakal and seltzer. You can make shahakal and vodka. Vodka is chometz. Seltzer is kosher lePesach. You can make adama on the kosher lePesach potato chips. You can make adama chometz dike potato chips. Even mezoinus. That you could buy kosher lePesach cookies that are mezoinus. No, they have mezoinus. They're less and less. They don't see it in the stores anymore. I'm old used to have this Psahech Shor, Bavad Yosef Esher. Ashkenazim don't hold it. Yeah, it's Svardi. They make it with apple juice. Very good cookies.
Like a cookie.
Yeah, cookie with chocolate on the side. When my kids were young, I used to buy it for them.
You could eat it only on
Erev Pesach.
Erev Pesach. It's a Friday.
Yeah.
You have no choice. So
I used to buy it from Purim, so the kids had cookies in the house. So emes chometz in the supermarket. We don't.
Not chometz.
Yeah. It's not chometz. And Bavad Yosef sagt it's kosher lePesach. Okay, we don't need a Pesach. It's good for Easter Chag Purim. But so even if you have some rooms in your house where all year is emach nisim by chometz, doesn't mean you can't eat there. Seltzer you could drink there, and banana you could eat there, and an apple you could eat there, and things that are not crumbs and not chometz either, not so makbid. When you say you don't want people eating around the house, it's really because you don't want it to be schmutzig. You don't want to have right. Well, Bissel seltzer,
children is very difficult, but
right. It's nicht gefährlich. So if you made that tonight befedish, but on the other hand, if someone is very makbid in his house, that we eat in the kitchen. We're not slobs. We don't go on the couch and
Oh, the worst things.
yeah. If a person so takas, if you go mecheder lecheder, you can make another bracha. What's the big deal? According to Alter Rebbe, if you didn't make it tonight, if you go mecheder lecheder, you make another bracha. What's the problem? There's no big deal.
And Bukhara.
Yeah.
But Acharona doesn't make a difference because there's no hesed hadas, so you could have 10 times.
You knew that you're gonna eat in 10 rooms.
Right, and even if you didn't, and then if
You had it in mind the whole house.
no, even if you didn't have, Lagabi brocha Acharona, you're allowed to make one bird in the foshes on 10 times. Bird pri Adama or Shahako or 8. It's a mafna shtois. We hold that one time bird pri, one time bird in the foshes and baya. So if taka person made a bird pri 8 and the fetish have a diet, I'm only eating one apple. And then he changed his mind. He wants to have a second apple. So taka has to make another bird pri 8. Or he went into another room. According to Alter Rebbe, he went into another room. You have to make another bird pri 8. But still, there's one bird in the foshes. Yeah.
He doesn't have to run back or
No.
before he leaves the
No.
room, say a bird nefashis.
It's not because I'm Muslim.
Okay. Do we have a minion?
No, we have 8 Menachem David for time man.
So if we don't have a minion, the Violet will start learning a shtickle around on this. And if the minion that I come on,
The Mishnah Berurah?
no, this is the Ram. Mr. Brewer, we're not going to get to today. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not. Huh? Oh, Chaim doesn't need a Omer tonight. You're right. So he might not come.
But we get him.
Tell him he should come anyway. Yeah. If you come all the time, you should come also.
Yes.
We don't.
Yeah.
In the year, you're not too fat.
Right.
Very interesting.
Was the Shmuel Tamei? Let's the top line of it. Was the Shmuel Tamei? Shmuel said, "En Kiddush Elam Makom Seudah." You must have Kiddush Makom Seudah. My time at the Ksiv it says, "L'pasav v'karos l'Shabbos Oinek, Makom shkaros l'Sham Tei Oinek." That the Leaf adds to the Gemara. The Gemara said, "Shmuel, you have to have Kiddush Makom Seudah." He says the reason. The pasuk says, "V'karos l'Shabbos Oinek." That wherever you call the Kedusha from Shabbos, that's where you have to have the Oinek. Something minay. If an yeshiva thought had a male labais lapina, he had a different girs in our Gemara. This girs mean lapina lapina. They thought if you're going to go from one corner to the other corner, not a problem. I'm a lot of Chonam bar Tachlif, Zevin Sagin, Have Kamei, the Shmuel Vafilama, Adali, get a Kaddish. Even he went from upstairs to downstairs, he'd make again Kiddush, which is a little funny according to this girs. So, a big deal. From upstairs to downstairs, he made a second kind Kiddush. But who says Mepina Lapina? We have 10? Vaf Ravuna Savein Kiddush Elam Makom Seudah. Vaf Rab Savein Kiddush Elam Makom Seudah. So they all hold in Kiddush Elam Makom Seudah. Okay. Let's look on the side there. How Pina Lapina Baise Bais. I feel out of league grab a Mekadosh. Vaf Gav the Lekal Mifsha Mahocha Maho Mepina Lapina. How did the Gemara figure out what's the difference from Pina Lapina? I feel the hochi. Even the mebayis lavdavke because you're telling me that shin is not only bayis lavayis. Alma enak fees told the bayis. Alma makom suda. Mahat I feel me pina lapina. Even if you go from corner to corner, you ruined your kiddush. Miu ikeman da omar dahani milech the lachozela duchte the kodesh bay. That's if you didn't see the place. Chozela duchte if he saw the place kodesh bay loy. It's not a problem. Loy tzarich doesn't have to make a second time kiddush. Madam l'shtei chaburis. And they compare it to two chaburas shayachlas b'bayis echad that we're eating in one house. As long as they could see each other, they make one single. Okay.
Remind me cook it.
Exactly. Beimar Rab when the Mrin Aliyel the Shmuel Damer en Kiddush Ela b'makom Seudah. Nachmon the Mrin Aliyel the Shmuel Damer en Kiddush Ela b'makom Seudah the Kedusha b'chnish Ela mahani Ela la'orchim. That the Chazan makes Kiddush in the shul, it's only for the Orch. Shmeinin, it's mashma, shemekadosh v'bayezu, b'shas Kiddush daite, lech l'bayis aksher loyotza. If a person made Kiddush in this house, even if he had in mind to eat in another place, he's not yotza. Why? Because that's what the Gemara says. The Chazan every week makes Kiddush in the basic Knesset. The Chazan knows that he's going home, his wife made a meal in the house, and still, he's not yotza. So mashma, the das doesn't help. Forgav the Bishalmi is mashma does help. The Pedicates said the Leimashma Chilik. In awesome, learn over there in the Yerushalmi. Rabba Barkana B'Rebchi Barasha B'Shem Rabba Omer Tzon of Adam Lifsel Tzedasim Evaydyon. Sukkasa. The person has to make a sukkah apostle. Talking about the person in Eretz Yisrael where there's no Yom Tov Sheni Shel Golis, and he wants to eat day 8. He wants to eat in the sukkah. Baal Toisef. So he makes the B'Evaydyon. He makes the sukkah apostle, and therefore he's allowed to eat in the sukkah. Nope, no eating. The day 8 you eat in the house. If you make Kiddush here and you decide to eat somewhere else, you have to make a second time Kiddush. Person that loves his sukkah. And the Shmini Atzeres, he wants to eat in the sukkah. Again, it's Yisrael, where Shmini Atzeres is really day 8. He makes Kiddush in his house. And he goes up and he eats in the sukkah. And he eats in the sukkah. Amar Vavin, look, there's no machlokes. The Rebbe was talking about he had the fetish of mind to eat in another place. He made Kiddush in one place. So he died to Lechel B'Sukosei. So because he made Kiddush in one place and in mind to eat in another place, there's not a problem. The Shmuel, when Shmuel said there's a problem, it's Kishloye died to Lechel B'Bayis Acher. When he didn't have B'das to eat B'Bayis Acher. This is what the Yerushalmi says. The bottom line is the Yerushalmi says that it depends. If you had B'das B'Shat, you made Kiddush to eat B'Bayis Acher, no problem. Mashma, Heiche, the Chama Shmuel, and Kiddush L'makom, so the Dafke, Shoye died to B'Tchil Lechel B'Bayis Kiddush V'Nimlach. It's only when he had the fetish mind he's going to eat here, and then he changed his mind. Oh, now there's a problem. But if the fetish he had the mind to eat the bayisach, there's no problem, and he doesn't have to make kiddush again. Well, the fum sugyan, but according to our sugyan, the Gemara Bavli lamashmachi. It's not mashma the way it could explain, as I said before, that it's mashma that the chazan in the shul makes kiddush. He knows he's going home, and even though he has das to go home, it doesn't help. He has to make kiddush second time. Dikeman the Omar. And the Yerushalmi said that you could have the das hani mila b'bayis l'sukkah, because a bayis l'sukkah is different. Because as from a bayis l'sukkah is like from upstairs to downstairs. It's not. He's not going away to a very different place. Yeah, first floor to second floor. The mashma gemara the land. The law mahamni. When argument said it's not. Mamish from one house to another house. So that's the way they say. And what do you mean they say? The Ramah holds this way, Taka. The Ram doesn't hold that way. The Ramah Taka holds, and this is a Yisoid Godel. And it's nigga every day in the brachas we make. Because we do pass in this way. And we say that there's no machlekes Bavli Yerushalmi. And it depends. And if you have das, but only mecheder lecheder b'bayis echet, upstairs to downstairs, mecheder lecheder b'bayis echet, das helps. But mebayis lebayis, das doesn't help. That's the way we pass, and that's the way we do. That if you didn't have das, even if you go mecheder lecheder, you have to make the bracha again. But if you had das, you make the sign on the wall. We graze and we eat in all the rooms. Then it's not called shinimakum, and you don't have to make a second bracha. But the Ran doesn't like it. Why? Well, number one, the kivin in Kiddush. Dina kimepina lepina. Kimebayis labayis. Lekele fluge beinai. The Ran holds, not like we. We in the past can like Toisvus. And we say one corner of the room to the other corner of the room, there's no problem. But the Ran holds that if you go from one, make Kiddush here, you're not allowed to eat there. You got to be glued to your chair like Abi Kiddush. Wow. So, what is he asking? I think he's asking like this. He's to think for a second. If you hold that you're allowed to go from one end of the room to the other end of the room, so das would help. What would das help? I can take with my hands and take a hammer and break all the sheetrock in the house and make the whole house into one big room. So when I had bedas, then I'm going to eat in the other room. It's kilu, I broke the walls.
One room.
It's all like one room. But if you're saying that you can't even go mepina lepina,
Mustn't in one place.
so what's it helpful? You have das. So what's it the das geholfen? What am I the banish shalom? I made this place and this place to be one place, but they're two separate places. Once you hold like the Ran, that Lagabe Kiddush, that you have to be glued to your seat and you can't move an inch to the right or an inch to the left. So what's it the help from that I had das? But according to us, the emissaries, we don't hold like that. We take a hold that you're allowed to go mepina lepina becheda echad also legabe kiddush. So the svara of das is pashut. The svara is that that when I had bedas, I'll eat in the other room. It's like I broke the walls. So therefore, the kasha is for infant. The second kasha he has. Ishleme ma'arli igre choza dodi. Male, if you go from upstairs to downstairs, I understand. Aval besukkah that they're next to each other.
Oh, I thought like the opposite, the dancing.
No, I don't think he means that. It means they're next to each other. Av besukkah, milo yaskin and the basic ham v'sukkasa b'moker ma'acher the have alei mebayis l'bayis. When the Yerushalmi said that it helps besukkah to have das, who told you that the sukkah is not across the street? Maybe the sukkah is across the street. And still the Yerushalmi says you can have a das. Lavada the Yerushalmi pligya. Yerushalmi argues on the Bavli. Banan, Pigamor the Danaktin. We have to pass him like the Bavli, not like the Yerushalmi. I would answer the second teretz of the Nan. I have a very good answer for it. My brother was telling me his boy came home with a beautiful Dvar Torah from his Rebbe. His Rebbe said that if you notice in the Shas, when they talk about the sukkah like a tzaddik, they brought him upstairs, like Kitin Shomayim. Also here in the Yerushalmi it says, it sounds like that in Eretz Yisrael the style was that they built the sukkah on the roof of the house. On the roof of the house. That's the way it sounds like it was the style. So the emissaries that the last time I was in Eretz Yisrael, I went to a place called Gamla. Gamla, for years I've been, wanted to go there, never got a chance. And finally I had the chance, Gamla, to go. Gamla was a city that was fighting against the Romans. And Fatchila, they had unbelievable atzlocha. And then Achmon al-Atzlan, one was Mesa Shem Zois, it all turned against. And they went and they killed thousands of Jews in the city of Gamla. And they left their bodies. Gamla is Gamla. Tilted, it's called Gamla, not Ramla. Gamla. Here is the Yamashal Tveria. Here is Hineret.
Okay.
Here is Tzvas. Gamla is here. There's a winery not far. Yeah, and they have a wine named for Gamla. Here is Tzvas. Here is Gamla. So with the Eden, according to Yosifun, the Eden, they didn't let them bury, and the vultures came, and for a long time the vultures had what to eat. There is a whole chapter in Yosifun about the city of Gamla, but for thousands of years no one ever knew where the city of Gamla is. He says the city of Gamla is top of a mountain. It looks like a gomel that bent down. It sounds crazy, and all this description he writes about the war. But, it's like old Lashon Kodesh, and it sounds like guzmoz. It sounds like nothing. But after Israel had the war with all the countries in the Yom Kippur War, Israel captured the Golan Heights. Forget the name. There was an old Yidala professor, a Talmud Chochem on Apikoides. But he knew the story of Yosifun, and he was always curious. And he went, and he walked, and he went on jeeps until he found the place. And he couldn't believe it. It was Bidiyuk, and they did excavations. They found they have everything Yosifun wrote about the wall that fell down and the arrows and the machine. Everything was found. The only thing, even the vultures are still there. Yosifun was writing about the vultures that came to eat the skin and the flesh of the people of Islam. So the vultures, for 2,000 years, they still. If you go there now, you see vultures going around. The vultures are coming around your head. The vultures are still there, and I don't know why the Israelis have such a mentality. I got there at 3:00. No, Fasagur. Then I got next day. They said, no, you're not strong enough to walk there. I said, what's the big deal? No, it's only the best hikers in the world. So whatever, I said, whatever. I bought a ticket to go and I walked there anyway. Like in America, if you went to a national park, this would be easy schmeezy walk. They would call it easy schmeezy walk. I don't know why that mentality over there. I went 3 times. Till the third time I came on time, and I was able to, anyway, it was fascinating. So they have their like plaques with pieces of the written from Yosifun about what happened, and it's very, very interesting. And the people of Gamla really and for Yerushalayim. After the Romans conquered Gamla, they went to Yerushalayim, and that was the Churban Beis Hamikdash. If they hadn't conquered Gamla, they wouldn't have conquered Yerushalayim. Second Beis Hamikdash. After they
That was the
conquered,
opening for.
that was yeah.
Uh-huh.
After they conquered Gamla, that's when they went for Yerushalayim. So the emes is that historians are always wondering why Gamla made a fight with the Romans. They were a very rich city, it's a gorgeous place, just like at top of the mountain. You see the
Golan Heights.
It's the Golan. It's like you could
Golan
go.
Heights is going.
It's gorgeous.
Yes.
It's gorgeous, crazy. It could be shikr from the view. From the view, shikr from the view.
Thousands of higher than
Yeah. The sea level, and you
Sea
see
level.
around, and it's beautiful. What's with the Romans? Because the Hungarian for Yerushalayim, but it was excited that it was going to be the Churban. But the first war they had against the Romans, they were matzliach. The Romans tried for 3 years to conquer them, they couldn't, and they thought
on the top and all come from the bottom.
it was impossible. It's like a forbidden city. It was impossible. The city is Taket. It is like a gomel, and on the top of the hump of a gomel, there's a city. And all around, the Romans could never get there. And that once that happened, they were able, after 2 years, they were able to get into the city. They climbed over the walls, and they jumped in the city. And the Goyim didn't realize it was Chag HaSukkos. What happened? They didn't know what a sukkah is. It's a Goyish cup. And they stepped on the roof of the sukkahs. They got him from the thing, and they got on the sukkahs. So what happens when they step on the roof of the sukkah? The Eden was sitting and eating kreplach and chicken soup. And mitnavol, the robots are falling in. The groise kreplach. What did they do? They shechted them. They killed thousands and thousands of Roman soldiers. And they went to shul and they said, Halal HaGodel. That's the way you see. That's, yeah. And after that, they sent Adrianus Caesar, and they made another siege. And after that, but that day was whatever, second day of Pesach, Sukkot, third day of Sukkot. It was a big miracle because the Goyim, they didn't realize. They thought that the Sukkot would power the house. So they climbed onto the roofs of the sukkahs they thought thousands of soldiers thought they're going to climb from the roofs, and they climbed on, and it was angefallen in the sukkahs. Ayov in the sukkah. So the Yidden went and they killed them all because they were startled. When they went flying, so they all were startled. And not everyone, but the violet, there was pandemonium, and the Yidden are killing. The Yidden won that war.
Good trouble.
Was that from the Meise that Neretz Yisrael Bezmanahu, the sukkah was on the roofs of the house. The sukkah was on the roof. If the sukkah would be like that Anna saying, maybe the house was here and the sukkah was across the street. This story would never happen. This story would never happen. If the Romans were dumb, but not that dumb. They were not that dumb. If they saw sukkahs were across the street, they were jumping on the roof of the sukkah. They're not like they called them in Hebrew a temba. They thought that this was the second floor of the houses because it was on top of the house. So ve'emfet the zweite kasha from the Ran. And the Gemara says in Yerushalmi that you could have bedas, and the Rishonim say that it means because it's me'igra la'ara b'cheder b'vayis echad. Then they talk about the sukkah because those days the sukkah was upstairs. They used to make the sukkah on the roof. But the Bavli who says that it doesn't work, and the chazan that makes kiddush in the shul and goes home has to make again kiddush bedas because the chazan is living 10 blocks away from the shul. Shenkin, the Gemara in Yisham is talking about the sukkah, and the sukkah is on the roof of the house. So you see that sometimes a field trip in the Golan helps understand Iran. So with this kind of answer in the Kashan Iran, that's the way the Ramah Paskins. Ramah Taka Paskins that no, that we do follow the Yerushalmi. And if it's Mebayis Laliya and you had Bedas, it works. If you didn't have Bedas, it doesn't work. But if you had Bedas, it works. Hence my takana to make a sign in the kitchen. We graze all day and we eat in all the rooms of the house. And then, but you don't have to make the sign. You could also make another bracha. If you go in the other room, you made a seltzer and you made shak, you go in the other room, you can make another shackle. Or you can make the sign.
They have two sukkahs, one outside and 71 inside.
Yeah, one was connected really. One was mamish connected. It's not negated l'gabios. We only eat in the sukkah. It's not shaykh to us, a shayla that we made Kiddush here, we ate there, we did this. We anyway only eat in the sukkah.
Maybe it's interesting.
Isn't it easier? It's not easier when a
One
person
second, what?
wants to get back. It's not easier because a person wants to get back into the sukkah. Meaning, when he makes kiddush in his house on Yom Tov, he really wants to get back into the sukkah because he knows he's supposed to eat in the sukkah really.
Yeah.
Meaning,
But it doesn't seem the
Yeah.
Ran doesn't seem to give any consideration to the svara.
I see. And also the aliyah to the sukkah is because it's aliyah beruchnius. Even if it's not begashmis, the person he's going up to eat in the sukkah.
I'm trying to be miyashiv the way we're paskening. And the Lashon
Right, right.
Yerushalmi is oila v'oichel
Right.
b'toch sukkosei.
Right.
True means
So
also
that's the
beruchnius.
mashma. Right.
But I think it
Right,
means
right, right.
begashmi is that in the days of the
Right.
Yerushalmi, the sukkah was on the roof, like it's
And
mashma
the
from
Mishnah also, the Mishnah and Sukkot. There's also there's a Mishnah and Sukkot. I have to show you which one. Also, it's mashma. They went upstairs.
Right, that's what I was saying before. That from the
Yeah.
Gemara and Sukkah is mashma that Bisman Shas, Bisman Gemara
Even the
also,
Mishnah.
Bisman Mishnah that
Right.
that the sukkahs were all on the roof.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Aside from the Lashonis and the Gemaras and the Mishnah, aside from the story in Yosifun, that's what I'm saying. So
Right.
therefore, I answered the kasha that the Iran asks against those Rishonim,
Right.
and Takazay that I'm passes like those Rishonim.
Right.
I think it's amazing that a diuk in the Lashon Mishnah plus a field trip in Gamla help us for Kasha for
Right.
Iran.
Right.
Okay, Shkar for joining us.
I never knew that.
Shkar everyone, a good night.
Basically, the Mashlim Armenia.
It's 1939. From 1939.